is one stock that is about to skyrocket. It is a gene editing company. You've heard of CRISPR. It's a gene editing technique that's been all the rage in biotech in the last 5 years. And right now, there's a amount of buying demand that we haven't seen in a long time. This company, NTLA, that's the ticker, is connected to Regeneron as well, which is a very well-known billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar genetics company. So let's jump into what the chart says, because you know I'm more of an expert about this company looks great because of the buying activity rather than because of some sort of little-known pharma secret. It's not financial advice, but let's get going.
This is Sam Putnam.
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 So I'm going to resist the urge to look at the chart right away, but in general, biotech is doing well. But here I am talking about percentages. Anyway, I might as well be looking at a chart. It's up 10% in October, which is a lot for this huge sector. So as always, the big names, Pfizer and Merck, are in the mix. And in terms of recent headlines, potential for over $1 billion in milestone payments. Potential sounds a lot like up to, which is the preposition used for OpenAI's recent deals, right? So is this all going to materialize? Probably not. You know, most biotechs fail. Does that mean they're not investable? No, they're definitely investable, especially when you go with momentum. And this CRISPR-Cas9 has been the darling of the pharma innovation world for the past decade or more. Now it's actually happening. So it's pretty exciting. These CAR T, these sort of gene editing buzzwords are all coming into reality here. And sure, I mean, the big names have stakes, and I guess Fidelity, I guess this one really matters. If Fidelity, you get them to take a stake in you before you go public, I think that's a, you know, from what little I know about private investing, that's a big deal. So here's the deal. NTLA is deeply connected to Regeneron via R&D collaboration. Of course, it's via R&D. Regeneron's not Pfizer, it's not Merck, it's not Novo Nordisk. So they're not just going to buy in TLA's technology, but they have collaborators. So we don't want ChatGPT to draw a diagram. ChatGPT diagrams are not good, so they're going to decline that. But with these healthcare biotech companies, you always have to worry about PDUFA dates. I don't even remember what PDUFA means, but it's basically the phases, the trials. When the data comes out, it really matters. It's not like, you know, you're trading NVIDIA and then suddenly they come out with a new round of chips and, you know, the chips perform 10% less than they were expected to perform, or a company orders slightly less. It's like, no, if the data is bad, these companies can get wrecked because there's no point in pursuing the science if the science isn't real, right? So couple risks. This was a while ago in May. Now I'm interested enough to look at the chart. So let's look at NTLA in May. Back in here, okay. So I guess it did take a while to bounce out of this tariff drop. Whereas if we, obviously the big companies are bad examples because they haven't been doing so hot anyway. Is Merck MRK? Yeah. Pfizer's PFE. Just looked at that. What about I can't believe I don't know the ticker from AstraZeneca. That's just been bothering me. Because it's been bothering me because there are a couple other companies. RYTM. This day is not real, so don't get worried about that. That didn't happen. So ignore that. And then MLYS, this is gapped up again, so pretty awesome move. MLYS doing well as well, and then ALNY doing well as well. So, but AstraZeneca is the other one you want to keep an eye on. It is AZN. What the heck? I guess I was looking up AZ at one point, or Thinkorswim was just bugging. Sorry, it's just sometimes I don't know if I mess up or if this software is just so slow that sometimes it confuses me. It's still the best software. We can talk about software, but more important than what you're using for broker trading software, as long as you can follow along, you know the ticker, you can type that in, you see whatever chart you're comfortable with, that's good enough. This is one of the few that actually moved up after the tariff flows. You see the other pharmas didn't. Regeneron didn't either. But when you see sort of a glimmer of hope, when the ETF is doing so well, and when you see this company doing well, which I already almost forgot what company we're talking about here. Just kidding. It's a CRISPR company. So this is the similar ticker you want to look at for NTLA, and it's doing all right, okay? But I have to say, even over CRSP, NTLA, just this has been an insane move, okay? Are insane moves reason to buy in and of themselves? No, generally you want to be careful. If you see a totally parabolic move like iron, you just got to wait for the doors to come off. It's going to become some sort of AppLovin situation where starts to unwind, and then maybe there's news. This was the data sharing news, and then it totally unwinds. But that's not what's happening right now. It's actually holding these sort of stair steps up. And with the biotech, it's actually less worrisome than with these other industries where huge moves do tend to unwind. I wouldn't want to be long RGTI right now, for example, which is a quantum name. So here's the move. The market kind of pulled back the last, 18 hours, but we don't really deal in 18-hour, 48-hour increments here. We're trying to really zoom out. You could even look at a weekly chart, and you could say, hey, here's a level here, 25, 24 and change, and if it can hold that, you can risk, $1 or so. You could get another $5 to $10 of upside. Of course, it was up way high back after this was actually not related directly to COVID euphoria, because this gap up must have been related to data in June of 2021. But since then, it's unwound, and the volume is significant. Now, it's not just that, hey, the price is lower, so of course the volume is significant. It's like, well, there's still, in the past handful of months, the price has increased and the volume has increased. So that's important. Sometimes it can get a little misleading to say, and I'll actually move this over so you can see this. My face is covering it, but this is what I'm talking about here. Prices increased, the volume's increased. Now, there's a lot of money coming in, dollar volume. Here's the deal. Coming back on the one day before I look back at a little information about the company. There's a level to risks here somewhere in 24.5. Yes, levels don't always hold up when the whole market dumps, which happened on Friday. I keep mentioning that because, look, there are days, back here, the market really dumped down. This overlay in the background is the SPY. Trump tweets something about, getting in a disagreement with the superpower China, and the market unwinds. It is what it is. You can't plan for that. And I've also mentioned there are times when certain companies will unwind too and just be really choppy. There was no news for AMSC on this day. This is a semiconductor, superconductor company, but just so happened a big fund, a big player, whoever it was, unloaded a bunch of shares, and it dropped 5% in a day. 60 to 55 is actually more than 5%. So that happens. But in general, levels do hold. They're certainly better than flying blind, not looking at the chart at all. And there's a spot here. So a lot of volume too, a high volume. There's distribution. There's people who bought this distributed throughout this day that are holding it and who are in the money. They're making money right now. So if it comes down and it sort of holds that level, or goes slightly below and then goes back up, whatever it does, it means that they still want to own the stock. They like the stock. They like the chart. And that's bullish. So that's the level. That's the company, NTLA. And like I said, I mean, if CRSP really takes a nosedive, then maybe I would run for the doors on NTLA. But right now, I mean, this is sort of holding up off of this left side peak here. Little hammer candle came back up. This hammer candle notably not related to the down market day. So that's strength. And NTLA is showing strength the last couple of days. Similar hammer candle on the 14th. Was that the same day? Yeah, that's the same day. And then if you look at the market on that day, yeah, so pretty much followed the market. Why don't we just buy the market if they all do what the market does? Because they don't do what the market does when they set up. So this is kind of what I'm talking about. The market kind of went sideways here, but this really went sideways, and then boom, big move up. And if we go back here, this really went sideways. And was this predictable? Not really. But when you see sideways motion like that, and it's sort of at a spot where there's been a lot of price agreement, that's what sideways motion is. People agreeing that that's the price it should be. It's not worth more, it's not worth less. When a decision gets made where it is worth more or it is worth less, there's a little bit of fear of missing out, right? And people are suddenly saying, okay, someone knows something, someone thinks something. It doesn't matter, this thing is going up, okay? So this isn't a super romantic scientific story about NTLA, although gene editing is very intriguing. But that's the price level. That's a little bit about the company. And we could talk to ChatGPT about them on and on and on. But honestly, I don't really know that you're going to learn that much related to this midterm investment, unless you actually want to get on the cap table, which I don't know how to do for one of these companies. You get in shares from an employee or something. There's no, okay, this is what PDUFA is, Prescription Drug User Fee Act. I still don't know what that gobbledygook means, but it just means that there's going to be some news out there in a couple years, and you want to not hold the stock through that news. You want to stay away, let the news happen, and then jump back in as long as it looks like an okay setup. So this is good. They got this designation. You want to be in, you want the FDA to like you. And yeah, they completed enrollment for phase 3. So that is another date you don't want to hold the stock in. You know, it's late 2025 now. You know, don't be careful if they start releasing information about phase 3 results about to be released to the public. I don't know what I was saying. Phase 3 is important. Okay, that's when there's huge moves in these stocks. So don't get worried about that. That's the stock. That's the levels. If you like these videos, hit that like button. And if you want to see more, hit that subscribe. I'm not a biotech expert. I think that's a good thing. Makes you more of a generalist. If you've got some ideas about stocks and you want to bounce them off of me or other people in the group, I'll give you my best idea on a particular day in real time and a weekly live stream. So we're adapting, we're growing, we're figuring out what people want, how people's schedules fit in with this sort of community. It's not a day trading room. People are busy. I get that. It's the whole point, give you enough information that's useful without overwhelming you and just hopping around like a chicken with our heads cut off of breaking news headlines. So head over to stockscommunity.com, try it out for $25 for 7 days if that's intriguing. Give it a shot, and I'll see you there, or I'll see you in the next one.
This is Sam Putnam.
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 This is Sam Putnam.